Hey everybody, welcome back to MattKiteboarding.com Wing Wednesdays. Today I'm going to talk you through a really exciting new product. I think everybody out there in the market's been waiting for this one for quite a while, and I know I was really excited to finally get some demos and have a chance to test these over the past year or so. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the new Ocean Rodeo Glide Series wing in both the A Series full Aluula and the H Series, stands for hybrid constructions. So we'll talk to you about this wing. It's kind of the same design for both construction methods, and then walk you through maybe which construction is right for you, how they differ, and do a little bit of comparison there. So this is a bit of an overview wrapped up with a review, wrapped up with a versus video, kind of all in one. So buckle up and sit tight, hopefully enjoy. All right, y'all might have saw me ride in on my workhorse tractor here. She is a 1949 Ford 8N tractor. She's an old one, but starts every time. Just a functional piece of equipment, no bells and whistles, nothing fancy going on. And for that reason, it is such a trusty, awesome piece of equipment. I never want to own anything more fancy than that for what I do. But in our market, it's fast evolving, and sometimes it can kind of seem like, hey, innovation for the sake of innovation. They're just trying to think of something new to put out for a new year. And I think with these new products here today, we're seeing something new, something useful, something where form is definitely following function, and something really exciting that's going to change the market for wing foiling as it has in kiteboarding. So what we have here today is the Glide Series wing, the Glide wing in the A Series, stands for Aluula material, from Ocean Rodeo here. We have also been testing the hybrid construction, as well as a previous variation of a prototype in full Dacron construction in a very similar design. So what that's given us is a real unique insight into how the Aluula material affects the performance and the feel and the design of the kite through three separate constructions in nearly identical designs of the wing. So it's really exciting. Rarely do we get a chance to do something like that, and I would say this new material in this application is extremely important in the evolution of wing foiling, and in terms of taking steps forward in material science for wind sports in general. But yeah, I digress. Let's get into it. I'm really excited about this wing. As I said, I've been testing the Aluula in the hybrid for the past few months, trying to kind of keep it buttoned up because I didn't want to get excitement going too high before any kind of stock was rolling in. But now we're starting to see some stock available, so we'll unbatten the hatches, so to speak, in terms of interest and questions, and hopefully this video addresses a lot of that for you guys, so you can get in line for one of these things, because they are pretty amazing. So looking at the front end here, we have got a beautiful looking color scheme, really nice graphics, beautiful looking wing. In terms of the canopy ripstop, it's a 2x2, which is nice and light, but also still very durable, very stiff. You can see the Aluula material there in the gold color, all the way along the leading edge, in reinforcement panels, in the structural reinforcements here, as well as in the battens and durability reinforcement. We've got some windows here. You'll notice they're real small windows comparative to some of the others in the industry. Some of the other brands are like, wah, 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 it covers almost the whole canopy. And while that's great, it does add weight, and it adds an opportunity for the wing to bag out sooner than the ripstop nylon. So having these slits of windows placed in just the right locations here, right by the boom and kind of halfway out to the wingtip, give you two really usable, beneficial windows without the drawbacks of the weight and shortened lifespan of the wing. All right, let's get to the other side of this puppy dog, the business end, as I typically like to call it. So here we are at the pilot end of the wing. Get a little better look at the Aluula airframe here. Now this stuff is crazy lightweight, super stiff, and you can pump it to really high PSI. I mean, you can hear that, how stiff that is. I'm trying to squeeze it here, everything I got, and I'm not even pumped up all the way. I'm only pumped up to like 10, 11 PSI. These can go upwards of 12, maybe even a little higher if you're feeling spicy, wanna do that. And the same for the boom here. You can see how stiff that stuff is, and I'm not even fully inflated really because I'm not going riding right now, but pretty impressive stuff. The numbers from Ocean Rodeo tell us in the full Aluula, this wing is as much as 40% lighter than most wings on the market and 50% stiffer, which is unbelievable. I mean, you can't really achieve those numbers with traditional kiteboarding materials. There's no way to do it. You know, if you increase the size of the bladders, you're adding drag, you're adding weight. You know, if you try to reduce the size of the bladders, you're introducing a lot of extra flex, you're losing power, you're losing response. So really this material was required to get the next level of performance. You know, we've done a lot of what we can with designs and wings. We kind of know the science behind it, what you can do, what the drawbacks are. You know, you give this, you lose this sort of thing. But the Aluula kind of smashes that apart. It's such an exciting material, being so incredibly light and stiff and able to take those higher pressures that it really, you know, blows the lid off those expectations design-wise and really lets you achieve a higher level performance and lighter weight while not losing durability, in fact increasing durability. So that's huge. Anyway, let's go top to bottom like we do on most wings here. Some of the other details aside from just that exciting material. On the front here we have a nice size handle, easy to grab even with gloves on. It's rigid enough that you got some good control over the roll of the wing and where it's going. It's also not overly big where it's just extra material that can flex around. Just a nice size. Got a little neoprene pad underneath so you're not scratching your knuckles on this material for long downwinders. Have a wrist leash attachment here, which is set up with a nice Lark's head connection. It makes it easy to take off, put on, especially if you're changing, you know, leashes between wings or changing leash styles. That's really handy. Going down to the inflation here, we have a Boston style inflation valve with a direct hose connection, no adapter needed. Really wish all the brands would go to that because I'm sick and tired of trying to stock and keep stock of adapters and talk with everybody about what works with what and whatever. It's endlessly frustrating. And you can see it's the same on the leading edge here. So these are individually inflated strut and leading edge, which is a good thing. That allows you to isolate your bladders in case there's a bladder issue. That allows you to go to different pressures. Your boom you're always going to want very stiff, but the leading edge, if you're working on the high end of its range, you can decrease the pressure of the wing slightly to help flex the wing more and shed some extra power if you're riding overpowered so the gusts don't become too powerful for you. Additionally, it's even more possible with the Aluula airframe because it allows you to reduce the pressure more relative to its high pressure, so there's just a more effective range there. You're stiffer at the beginning, but you can also still take it down to a more normal level to introduce a little bit of flex if you want to. Whereas with most normal wings, you know, 1 PSI, maybe 1.5 is about all you can do effectively without completely compromising the integrity of the frame, where it's just going to kind of fold in half. So I'm a huge fan of these independent inflations, especially on an Aluula wing, where you can make those really notable changes. Coming behind the strut here, you can see we have a nice baffle. It's a really well-refined shape here, and really tight canopy, you know, so that's creating a lot of power, but it's also not too deep where it's just creating downwind power and lift. This wing creates a lot of forward speed and apparent wind and momentum because of the shape of this profile. You can also see, since we're kind of looking at that, the bend, let's back up here, in that strut. So you can see it kind of bends out and then back in. So that just gives you that perfect shape, but also support for the trailing edge here to keep that flying level and fast. And then also so that if this back end that tapers, flexes a little bit, it's still staying true with the camber of the wing here. All right, so next we'll talk about our handles here. These handles are truly amazing. You know, I thought I had kind of seen it all in terms of handles, booms, etc. And Ocean Rodeo has gone the next level, I would say, in terms of ingenuity, and creativity, and really performance in handles. So they call these the Matrix handle, and they call them that because they are removable, adjustable handles. So if you look here at the side, this goes together with Velcro here, kind of a triple lap. So you can take these off, you can adjust them. So you could like take this one and move it to this point to kind of make the span a little tighter. You can remove this one to reduce weight, or if you're going to do like I just said, extending the span on this one. And they give you three really nice, well-designed custom handles here. The stanchions stay really tight, and the way they droop is just a really nice kind of triangle-y shape, you know, where you're not really rubbing your knuckles or having a hard time getting in here, especially with thicker neoprene gloves on. It's large enough where you can get in there easy. You're not going to miss it in the middle of a tack, but it's also, you know, tight where you're not losing control of the wing. You're really gaining 100% control. So really stoked on that. In addition to these really nice handles that I really enjoy a lot, they'll be having a carbon boom available hopefully this winter that is going to connect kind of from up here down all the way down, so you have a one-piece carbon boom if you're really a boom fan, or if you want to trade back and forth. You know, maybe you like the soft handles for surf, but you like the boom for free riding, or while you're learning. A boom can sometimes be a little bit more intuitive and easier to handle while you're getting used to how to handle the wing, and where the handles are and whatnot. You know, I really don't have a problem with these handles, especially considering, I mean, there's a handle other than maybe an inch here in between the whole length of the functional section of the boom. So, I mean, I don't have any problem with these handles. They're perfect in my opinion. They're light, they pack well, and they're really, you know, quite adjustable, which is super cool and unique. You can see here I have a harness line set up. I have that connected to the little yellow loops on the handles here. That seems to work well for me. And I've been riding them, like I said, a couple of months like this with no issues. So I'm not sure if that's what Ocean Rodeo had in mind with these little yellow loops, but that's what's worked well for me. No issues there. And yeah, for some reason you did take a really hard fall while hooked in or something and managed to rip out a yellow loop, you just go to one of the other ones that are available or order a new handle to replace it. So I would say that's better than ripping a pigtail attachment or a harness line attachment off the boom, where it's going to really damage the boom itself. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, here she is in all of her glory. I don't have the hybrid here with me today, but if you can imagine this exact same wing with a black Dacron leading edge. That's essentially what it is. And yeah, so you know, the hybrid's a little bit more affordable, a little heavier, not quite as rigid, but both really phenomenal wings. And as I said, I even tested this design in a Dacron variation, you know, maybe 8 months ago, 10 months ago. And I was really floored by the design of that, even in the standard materials. So going to this next level construction, this thing has really, really gone to the moon and impressed me. So once again, this has been Tucker with MattKiteboarding.com. Another Wing Wednesdays, and we'll see you next week.